Welcome back to another episode of the Casey Campbell podcast. Casey Campbell with you, of course. Pleased to be joined by the one, the only Noel Dean, the head football coach at Chelsea. How's it going?
It's going really good, Casey. How are you today?
I'm doing well. I would like to welcome you back to the state of Michigan. Of course, you know, I, I know you've always wanted to come back here and coach football again after a pretty successful run at Lowell. Um, what made you choose? Why Chelsea? Why was this job so attractive to you?
Well, I just think that it had a lot of similar features to Lowell in that regard, and just a lot of really hardworking people that care about kids and that are committed to excellence in a classroom and off the field and then on the field. So those three components really fit with my DNA, and my wife and I are excited to be here and maybe add to the Chelsea community legacy.
Yeah. Um, so going in and getting to know the kids, what has the summer been like? Just trying to get to know everybody.
Well, just trying to get to know their names and get organized in some regard. We were living in Georgia right up until June, and doing some things online, doing some things in that nature. But just getting to know the kids and the families, and putting some programming together so that we have a chance to maybe have some synergy as we head into the season.
Absolutely. All right. So time to talk to get to know the kid, get to know some of the returners and some of the guys that you have coming back for this team. We'll start with offense, then go to defense, and then we'll go to special teams.
Yeah, right. So we don't have a whole lot of kids coming back, on the offensive side of the ball, or for that matter, not a bunch on defense either. So it's hard to really point out any particular kid at this point in time because we don't really have any jobs that are spoken for. So I like I've been spending a lot of time working with quarterbacks, and I like Nate Christian, Caden Bazer, Luke Kavanaugh, Jackson, Ichesko, and Nolan, Shakatano, and just to name a few of the kids that we've been working with quarterback work. And we're just in a process right now of just expectation, mindset, how we're going to go about our business. I've always, quarterback's kind of my thing. When I was at Lowell, we would work with those guys year round, and we would start with them in like fourth and fifth grade. We're trying to make up for some lost time right now. Very similar model I'm used to than, maybe what Brad Bush had been doing, working with quarterbacks all those years and building those relationships. And right now I'm trying to make up for some lost time. So that's what we're working on right now.
Yeah. Defensively, what are your just overall? What do you feel about that side of the ball?
Well, I'm just really fortunate to have like Grant Fanning with me and, Coach Montoy and Chad McHale and Mike Brown and Tyler Santora. I mean, just those guys, to have that staff back and have it be cohesive. And then, the kids, the hard work and the ideas behind, accountability and self-discipline. And a lot of that just comes from the weight room, too, so between the families and the consistency with the defensive staff, and then you throw in what Coach Adam Taylor's doing, and now Joe Welton's with him in the weight room. There's just so much consistency, and then when you put in all of that effort, it's there's just an idea of the you can't fake effort, and the kids who fake effort, they don't pan out and they go away, and then once you have so much vested in something, you kind of tend to see it through, whatever that is, right? So if it's academics, and if it's community service, if it's someday maybe a strong marriage, all of those things, once you have so much vested in it, you have a tendency to stick with it and see it through, and that's what I see here defensively, and with Chelsea football in general, with Chelsea anything in general really is, and but from the football coaching standpoint, that's what I see.
Yeah. Special teams. What's that looking like for you guys?
Well, I think that, Coach Montoy does a fantastic job of that again, and that's not really broken here. So I don't have a real intention of fixing a lot of that, right? So I think that we'll be very sound in that category. I think that we've seen some things done this summer that have put us on schedule with, you know, special teams. We're probably behind a little bit offensively. So, we're going to have to win in different ways. We're certainly not the most talented group of players in our league, and certainly, in an odd way, we're not the most tenured staff in our league. So we have a lot of work to do, but we like where we are and we like where we're heading. We just we got to be patient and you know just show up, be consistent. Those are the things that we talk about as being smart and intelligent, emotionally. We talk a lot about noetic excellence, and we want to be noetically excellent and everything that we do. So, um, you know, right now that's where we're heading, and that's what we're working on.
Absolutely. Okay. So I know we talked about the kids. Now let's go through the schedule and see what you guys have. Of course, August 30th, the season starts as you will head back to the west side of the state to take on Grand Rapids Northview. And then, of course, the home slate begins on September 6th with Detroit East English, September 13th, home against Pinckney, September 20th, home against Ypsi Community, September 27th at Adrian, October 4th, home against Tecumseh, October 11th at Jackson, October 18th at Trenton, and finishing out the regular season at home against Dexter. So pretty good schedule. I know obviously you know a lot of you're going to get, obviously you're really familiar with a lot of these teams, but what's looking like as you kind of get used to the SEC?
Well, I think that number one, I mean, our focus has got to be on us, and it has to remain on us every day. So I don't get too caught up in because those teams will be there when we get there, I'm pretty sure. So right now it's about us and what we can do to improve, our mindset and the way we go about our business. And the first game is a big game for us because they kicked the snot out of us last year pretty good. And so and now we did it, that was at home. So now we got to go on the road and deal with that. And Coach Osnock is just a fantastic coach, and I'm a big fan of his, and extremely talented team. They got almost all of their starters back, twice as many starters back as we do. Plus, they've picked up a kid from another school that is a really good football player as well. So, athletic, talented quarterback, and one of the best receivers in the state. So I'm not really sure if we think about that so much, it might, might take away from our practice. So, they'll be there when we show up, I'm sure of it. So right now our focus is really on us and competing day to day with our in the weight room and in practice and skill and film and all of those things. So
Yeah. Okay, so talk about the SEC White for a second. I know that, just getting used to the division and how you got to know a lot of the coaches and stuff like that. How are you have you gotten a chance to meet the other coaches in the league?
I really haven't. I mean, I met Coach Brown. Was at some basketball games when I was here earlier, and so yeah, I got to meet him. He was a former Chelsea coach at one time, so there's a lot of relationships there, and a lot of the guys that are here that like Brad Bush and that are Ipsy guys. So, from way back when. So, but no, it's extremely talented coaching in the SEC White and the Red for that matter. So we're trying to catch up with them and do our best to give them a challenge. I think that, like, when you go through the list of teams, I think Adrian is extremely talented. They got all of their kids back. I would put them at the top of the list, as far as what everybody's going to have to deal with and somehow overcome them. And we're hoping that when we have a position where we're in the last game of the league, that we're in a position to possibly, have a part of, that. But again, that just goes back to the week to week process of, not putting one game higher on the schedule than any others, and enjoying the week to week. And I know this is the more prepared we are, and the better job we do coaching and organizing and planning and all of the work the kids put in, the games are so much more fun when you do all of that. And so that's what we're trying to do, is be good stewards of a great football program and a great football community, and continue on that success. So
Um, so this next week, I know, I know it's kind of an off period. I know you can still condition, be in the weight room, obviously no football activities. What's your approach to next week? Because I know that some kids are, if the weight room's open, you can go in there, or I know some coaches have also given players off to get ready for that big day on the 12th.
yeah, so I'm kind of a marathon, not a sprint guy. I like to study for the test as the class starts. And I had to. I was a chemistry major in college, so you had to do the work as you went. I was doing it, trying to cram it all in at the end. I think, if we couldn't have coached them for the last 10 weeks, I don't think the next week's going to matter that much. I think, so I think, and the kids that show up and they work hard, and you try to you try to balance what they do, when they do it, and how often they do it. So we have Monday and Tuesday, I think we'll hit the weight room pretty hard with Coach Taylor. Monday, we have a symposium. I have a leadership symposium once a month. Last month, we had Terry Esbrook in. Monday, I have Samantha Mullet coming in. She's the only female high school football coach in the state of Michigan. And spent a summer working with the Bills and a summer working with the Ravens. So that's part of our speaker series that we have coming in next week. And then we'll go have a tickle fight and chase some butterflies for a few days, and then come back on the 12th, and continue the process of getting better and moving forward. So
All right. Well, Noel, Dean, thank you so much for the time as always, and best of luck to the Bulldogs coming up this coming season.
yeah, I appreciate it, Casey. I do, and we'll look forward to seeing you here in Chelsea sometime soon. All right.
All right, sounds good.